The sun beats down on the red rock, but here, in the Grand Canyon Plaza, the heat is a form of benediction. Thousands have gathered, their faces turned upward not to a pulpit, but to a throne carved from the sandstone cliff face itself. Brigham Young, his beard now long and streaked with gray, stands robed not as a mere church president, but as a monarch. His vestments are simple white linen, but over them is a breastplate of beaten Arizona copper, inlaid with turquoise. In one hand, he holds a scepter topped with a golden beehive. In the other, the Book of Mormon bound in leather. He is not elected, he is anointed. An elder, Heber C. Kimball, places a simple, open-worked iron crown upon his head, declaring him Brigham, first king of the kingdom of the sun, shield of Zion, and shepherd of the saints. The crowd doesn't just cheer. They sing a powerful hymn that echoes off the canyon walls, a sound both holy and martial. This is not the founding of a territory to be absorbed by the United States. It is the birth of a rival nation, a theocratic monarchy built on faith, industry, and an unshakable belief in their divine right to this land of stark and brutal beauty. The United States, distracted by the prelude to its own civil war, barely registers the event, dismissing it as the delusion of a desert cult. It is a mistake they will come to regret. While the United States tore itself apart in civil war, the kingdom of the sun performed miracles. King Brigham I proved to be a master of logistics and engineering, not just faith. He declared a holy war, not on men, but on the desert itself. The scene is one of titanic effort. Thousands of men, organized into water quorums, work with near-silent efficiency. They're diverting the mighty Colorado River. Using black powder, steam-powered winches, and sheer manpower, they have constructed a dam of unprecedented scale, a cyclopean wall of mortared sandstone blocks that plugs a narrow canyon. Water, the lifeblood of the desert, now pools into a vast reservoir. Intricate canals, lined with clay and stone, snake away from the dam, turning vast swathes of arid land into a grid of lush green fields of alfalfa, corn, and orchards. This control of water gives the kingdom its power. It is not gold or silver they hoard, but acre-feet of water. Their engineers, the Deseret geometers, are the new high priests, mapping the land and dictating the flow of life. This is the source of their independence and their strength, a green jewel in the heart of a red wasteland. King Brigham I is dead. His son, John II, a man born in the kingdom and knowing nothing else, now reigns. He is pragmatic and wary. The United States, now reunified and hungry, is pushing west with its iron gospel, the railroad. The scene is one of tense confrontation. A Union Pacific survey team, protected by a small cavalry detachment, finds their way blocked. They stand before a small, formidable fortress built into a mesa, flying a flag of a golden beehive on a field of blue. Out of the fort ride 20 riders. They are the Danite Guard, the elite cavalry of the kingdom. They ride hardy desert mustangs and are dressed in practical leather and denim. But they are armed with the best repeating rifles money can buy, purchased through quiet trade with British agents in Mexico. Their leader, a grizzled man with a pistol strapped to his thigh, holds up a hand. He speaks perfect, unaccented English. This is the sovereign land of the kingdom of the sun, by God's decree, he states calmly. The United States has no authority here. Turn your iron horse around. The U.S. cavalry captain, accustomed to brushing aside native tribes, is taken aback by the discipline, the modern weaponry, and the absolute certainty of these desert men. There is no violence, but the message is clear. A line has been drawn in the sand. The kingdom of the sun cannot remain isolated. They have resources the expanding industrial world craves: copper, borax, and now, silver. The U.S. wants to annex the territory, but a costly war in the desert against a disciplined, motivated populace is unappealing. A clandestine meeting takes place in the back room of a Tombstone saloon. Queen Rachel, the shrewd and intelligent wife of King John II, meets with a representative of a powerful consortium of San Francisco bankers and industrialists. She is not a pioneer woman. She is a queen, dressed in a modest but elegant silk dress, her hair pinned up, her demeanor calm and commanding. She is flanked by 2 Danite Guards in plain clothes. The bankers want a guaranteed, stable supply of silver, unmolested by Apache raids or federal taxes. Queen Rachel wants recognition and trade. A deal is struck. The Silver Compact is secretly signed. The kingdom will provide a set amount of silver bullion directly to the consortium's agents in Mexico, bypassing the U.S. government entirely. In return, the bankers will use their immense political influence in Washington to argue against military intervention, framing the kingdom as a stable, self-governing religious territory that is best left alone. It is a cynical, brilliant act of statecraft that buys the kingdom another generation of peace. The kingdom has prospered. New Jerusalem is no longer a rough pioneer town. It is a unique metropolis. The architecture is a stunning hybrid of Art Nouveau, sandstone masonry, and desert sensibilities. The Central Grand Temple is a masterpiece. It is not a Gothic cathedral, but a soaring structure of white sandstone with 6 spires reaching for the sky. Its massive windows, not stained glass, but intricately cut and leaded selenite, a translucent crystal abundant in the region. At night, the entire temple glows from within. The scene takes place during the dedication of the temple's hydroelectric generators. King John II, now older, flips a large copper switch. With a hum, thousands of incandescent bulbs, a technology the kingdom has perfected in isolation, flicker to life, illuminating the entire temple plaza. The city is a beacon in the desert, powered by the tamed river. It is cleaner, more orderly, and more technologically advanced in civil engineering than many American cities of the era. Ambassadors from Great Britain, Germany, and even the Ottoman Empire are in attendance, observing this strange, successful desert monarchy with a mixture of awe and strategic interest. The Kingdom of the Sun is no longer a regional curiosity. It is a player on the world stage. The kingdom's survival depends on its mind as well as its faith. Prince Joseph, the heir apparent, is not a warrior or an engineer, but a scholar. He is a man of the 20th century, educated by European tutors and the kingdom's own burgeoning university. The scene is set in the Royal Observatory, a state-of-the-art facility perched high on a mountain overlooking the kingdom. The dome is copper, now green with patina. Inside, Prince Joseph is not praying, but guiding a massive, brass refracting telescope, charting the stars. He corresponds with astronomers in Europe and America, sharing data on planetary orbits and stellar spectroscopy. He is the face of a modernizing monarchy, one that seeks to reconcile its foundational faith with scientific inquiry. He argues in the Royal Council that their true promised land is not just the valley, but the future. They must master radio, aviation, and chemistry to remain independent. Some of the old guard elders see this as a dangerous drift from the original teachings of King Brigham, a flirtation with the Gentile world that could poison their society. The tension between tradition and progress is now the kingdom's central internal conflict. The world is at war. The United States has joined the Allies. The Kingdom of the Sun has declared armed neutrality, but its strategic position and resources make it prize. German agents have been trying to incite the kingdom to attack the U.S., promising support via Mexico. The U.S., in turn, eyes the kingdom's copper mines and strategic river. The scene is in the sky. The scholar prince, now King Joseph I, took his own advice. The kingdom has an air guard. Their machines are not the mass-produced crates of Europe, but finely crafted biplanes, their wooden frames made of strong, light timber from the high mountains, their engines bought or reverse-engineered. We see a patrol of 3 Deseret biplanes, their wings painted with the sunburst and beehive roundel, flying over the border. They spot an American Curtiss Jenny, likely on a reconnaissance mission. There is no dogfight. Instead, the lead Deseret pilot flies alongside the American, salutes crisply, and then firmly gestures for him to turn back. It is a gentlemanly, yet firm, assertion of sovereignty. The kingdom is demonstrating its capability without firing a shot, a dangerous and delicate aerial ballet on the brink of war. The United States, in the grip of the Great Depression, embarks on its own massive water project, the Hoover Dam. The problem is it's downstream from the Kingdom of the Sun. Its construction is an existential threat, an attempt by the U.S. to seize control of the Colorado River, the kingdom's lifeblood. The scene is a tense diplomatic standoff at the construction site. King Joseph I, now in his middle age, meets with a delegation from the U.S. Department of the Interior. Thousands of American workers have paused, watching from the massive concrete structure. The king, flanked by his stern Danite Guard, is not aggressive. He is a man of science. He unrolls a series of charts and hydrological surveys. "Gentlemen," he says, his voice amplified by a portable electric speaker, "your project, as designed, will reduce the flow to our reservoirs by 43% during the dry season. It will cripple our agriculture. This is a violation of the water treaties signed by our grandfathers. We cannot allow it." He proposes a technical solution, a joint operating agreement, and a redesign of the spillways. The Americans, expecting a religious fanatic, are faced with an unassailable scientific and legal argument. They can proceed and risk a shooting war, or they can negotiate with this strange desert nation. The world is again at war, and this time, the Kingdom of the Sun has chosen a side. After Pearl Harbor, King Joseph I declares war on the Axis powers, seeing fascism as a dire threat to a society built on religious freedom. But they do not send soldiers. They send their minds. The kingdom's unique Deseret alphabet and their complex linguistic history, a blend of 19th century English and adapted biblical Hebrew, makes for a perfect, unbreakable code. At a secret radio station in England, a small, unassuming team of young men and women from the Kingdom of the Sun work as code talkers. They are the honeycomb unit. The scene shows them in a cramped radio room, headphones on, rapidly translating sensitive Allied strategic messages into their unique language, which is then broadcast. To German intelligence, the transmissions are gibberish, an unknown language they cannot decipher. One of the young women, a direct descendant of Heber C. Kimball, calmly speaks a stream of Deseret into the microphone, relaying the coordinates for a planned amphibious landing. The kingdom, once a defiant isolationist state, is now a crucial, secret ally, fighting the war with words and wit. The world has changed. King Joseph I has passed, and his son, Brigham III, the tourist king, now rules. He is a modern man in a tailored suit, a product of post-war prosperity. The kingdom is secure, wealthy, and stable, but it faces a new, insidious threat, the cultural gravity of the United States. From a high vantage point on Mount Charleston, the king looks down at the glittering, garish spectacle of Las Vegas, a city of chance and excess that has grown on his very border. It represents everything his society is not. Yet, his people are curious. Tourists now flow both ways. Americans come to see the majestic canyon cathedrals and the orderly, clean city of New Jerusalem. The young people of the kingdom, however, are drawn to the rock and roll, the movies, and the rebellious freedom shimmering just across the desert. The scene is one of quiet contemplation. The king stands with his daughter, the heir presumptive, Princess Sarah. "Our ancestors fought the desert, then they fought the Americans for our water and our land," he says quietly. "Now we fight their temptations. How do we keep our soul, Sarah, when the whole world wants to sell us a new one?" The final battle for the Kingdom of the Sun will not be fought with rifles or dams, but in the hearts and minds of its own people.